Hey everybody, welcome back to the family channel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day so far. As you can see, it's just me again. Kat and Leia are pretty tired from their trip yesterday and Garen is out with a mate, so you guys are stuck with my ugly mug yet again. As you know, I love my creepy crawlies and all my weird and wonderful things, and today we are reacting to the most venomous spiders in the US. Now this isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, I do realize that, but when I'm on my own, I figure I'd check something like this out. I love spiders. Garen and I had some tarantulas and scorpions and assassin bugs and things like that when we were in the UK, as well as snakes and other stuff. I've got snakes in that now, but yeah, I haven't got any spiders apart from the ones that live downstairs, which aren't my favorite. They're those daddy long legs that make cobwebs everywhere. So sometimes my fish, I've got two fish that love eating them, so they get a little daddy long legs snack, which isn't for everybody, but the fish love it. And yeah, I do want to apologize for the camera. It keeps going in and out of focus for some reason. I have no idea what's going on. I've tried changing settings and moving lights and doing all sorts of things, so I do want to apologize for that. If it doesn't sort itself out, I'll bring out the DSLR tomorrow when we're all back filming, and hopefully that will improve things. Before we get into today's video, if you guys haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, and if you want to support the channel, please use our Amazon affiliate link down in the description. It's not going to cost you anything, but if you do any shopping there, we'll get a tiny commission, and that goes towards our savings to hopefully come and visit the US later this year. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's check out the most venomous spiders in the US.
There are 4,000 species of spider in the US alone.
I thought there was more.
All of them are venomous, but a bite wouldn't be much worse than a bee sting. However, there are a few spiders, some you may have heard of, others you probably haven't, that are the most toxic among North American arachnids. Here are 5 of the most dangerous spiders in the US.
If it's venomous spiders we want, one of the best places to start is the wildest state in the country, Florida. Known for its menagerie of deadly creatures, the spiders here are no exception.
Yeah, everyone always thinks about the big things, eh? Like the alligators and the sharks and the snakes and stuff. Sometimes you forget about the spiders. I've got, you can't see it because of the tattoo, I've got a scar here. I think I've got a scar under this arm or under this arm. I got bitten by a jumping spider in South Africa, and it went really big and nasty. And my mom's full of scars. She used to get chowed by spiders for some reason.
Our first spider makes its home on the forest floors all across the state, where it hunts all sorts of invertebrates under cover of nightfall. It's unlikely you'll ever come across it, but if you flip the right log, you may come face to face with a potentially toxic spider.
Now this spider right here is something extremely special. This is the Florida wandering spider.
The wandering spiders are part of the family Tenidae, distant evolutionary cousins of wolf spiders. They're smart, calculated killers, equipped with some of the most potent neurotoxins in the world. The best way to recognize them is the square-like arrangement of eyes.
Pretty big fangs, eh?
Face. Unlike the 2 large eyes of wolf spiders in the tropics, the wandering spiders from the Phenutria group are known man-killers and are a contender for the title of the world's most lethal arachnid.
Despite their toxic nature, wandering spiders are actually really shy. And unlike a lot of other spiders I've worked with, they really hate the light. Like, they actively flee it, almost like a
yeah, look, it's going to the underside.
And as a result, they're almost never seen during the daytime.
The remote habitats they call home mean that bites really don't happen, so only a few reports exist about their effects on humans, but they're said to cause flu-like symptoms for several days. More research on these spiders may reveal they are hiding even more dangerous secrets, but conventional wisdom is to treat any sizable wandering spiders as if they were medically significant. For now, the Florida wandering spider stays at a rank of 5, but it's definitely a spider to be aware of. As we venture deeper into the world of extremely venomous spiders, we stay in the wilderness of central Florida.
I love that moss.
Our attention shifts to the sandy
old man's beard or something. I love that stuff.
We stay in the wilderness of central Florida, but our attention shifts to the sandy palmetto scrubs and a brilliantly colored creature with an amazing toxic power.
Wow.
Oftentimes in nature, we'll actually see animals that have really bright coloration. Because it gives them no camouflage, that striking color
is that an orb spider?
Actually serves as a warning to potential predators that, hey, I might be very dangerously venomous. If you mess with me, you're gonna regret it. And in the scrub habitats of central and southern Florida, there's a spider that fits that exact description. And in the case of the red widow, it is definitely dangerously venomous. And if you mess with it, You might just regret it.
As its name suggests, the
Never
red
heard
widow
of a
is
red,
cousin
red widow. That's amazing. I think it's a beautiful looking spider. Some people will be cringing right now. I think that's awesome.
of the infamous black widow,
Wow.
and possibly one of the rarest widow spiders in the world. Found only in scrub habitats in central and southern Florida, not a lot is known about them due to how infrequently they're seen by people. But this spider is one of the most venomous in the nation. Like all widow spiders, the red widow possesses a potent neurotoxin used to short-circuit the nervous systems of its insect prey. They nest inside saw palmettos exposed to open fly-through zones, using their gnarled, tangled web to ensnare flying insects that are zipping by. It's also the way scientists like me are able to find them.
Oh, there's a web.
Oh, there. Well spotted, mate. Oh, it's got eggs. It's got egg sacs.
That's a widow!
This is the
Really loud.
second location I've ever seen these incredible spiders. Let me get her out so we can take a better look at her.
Truthfully, not a lot is known about this spider, and that's mostly because they're so rare and found in such remote areas. In fact, there
Is he
aren't
gonna hold
actually
it?
any bites in the medical record because it's not your average Joe who's getting bitten by this spider in their house. It's hobbyists who keep them as pets and researchers like me who are actually out in the field studying and sampling them. Because there's so few reports, there's a lot of stories out there about what this spider can do, most of which are anecdotal, though a few have actually come from actual researchers who have had extremely adverse effects. And the biggest and most notorious story about the red widow is that if you are bitten, you will have chronic symptoms that last the rest of your life, which sounds pretty serious considering it's a tiny little spider that lives in palmettos. And interestingly enough, I'm actually one of the few people in the world who can actually say they've been bitten by the red widow.
The initial bite was a faint stinging sensation, which is typical of widows. Oftentimes, you don't
What
know
the
you've been
heck?
bitten.
He got bitten making the video.
People in the world who can actually say they've been bitten by the red widow.
The initial bite was a faint stinging sensation, which is typical of widows. Oftentimes, you don't even know you've been bitten. It's not the initial bite that's the problem, it's what follows. 30 minutes in, I began to feel aches.
Oh, look
all
how he's
over my
sweating.
arm. Fearing the worst, I watched it over the next few hours. Dull aches traveled through my muscles into my armpit, but nothing ever exceeded a 3 or 4 out of 10. The best thing I can compare it to is the sensation you have the day after a particularly taxing gym session. Weak and achy.
Nothing that wasn't unmanageable, but in severe cases of widow bites, that pain can be really intense and it can be all throughout your body. We're talking massive headaches, nausea, back pain. In some cases, widow bites have been described to be debilitating. And the thing is, because of the nature of the toxin, no over-the-counter pain meds is actually going to touch it. So these are spiders to take very, very seriously.
With such a fearsome reputation, the red widow would definitely be higher on this list if it were more common. But even people who live in their range can go their entire lives without even knowing this.
I need a new chair, this thing. Trophy. Camera's freaking out, chairs making noises.
Spider exists, let alone seeing one. So it earns its place at number 4.
Now as we're climbing the list here, I'm sure I have some city-dwelling audience members who are kind of sighing a sigh of relief because all of the crazy spiders we've seen so far are
Black
all way
Widow's
out
coming
in
up.
rural areas. Well, I'm here to tell you that just because you're not living in a rural area doesn't mean you're safe from really venomous spiders. Now what I've got right here is a brown widow
Brown
spider.
widow.
Literally, in the least natural area you could possibly imagine.
Don't their egg sacs, do you know when I see that? I'll show you. Let me just wait.
Literally, in the least.
Their egg sacs, you know, that when they've showed photos of the coronavirus and that, it looks like that, doesn't it? Like the picture with the round ball with the spikes on.
Natural area you could possibly imagine awesome little spiders are actually living. The brown widow is a very interesting spider. Pretty much only lives in urban areas due to the fact that it's actually invasive. It was brought here most likely due to the plant trade.
Yeah,
We're not
plants are
entirely
fruit.
sure where they came from. Most signs point to South Africa, but we can confirm that the brown widow is definitely an invasive species in many cities across the world. Building its tangled web in forgotten corners, the telltale sign the brown widow is around are its iconic spiky egg sacs, and they build a lot of them.
Unlike other widow spiders, it's pretty unassuming. It actually looks kind of like any old run-of-the-mill house spider or cobweb spider with its drab brown coloration, until you flip it over and see that bright orange hourglass on its underside. Unassuming or not.
So if you're unsure what it is, just grab it and flip it over. What the heck? I'm not going to flip it over.
These guys are no joke.
It may not
I love spiders and that, but I'm not going to just grab something like flip an egg. Even the tarantulas we had, there was only a couple that I'd let go on my hand. Otherwise, no, I'm not keen on getting a bite.
be as striking as the red or black widows, but this is not a spider to take lightly. Native or not, it might be the most toxic spider in North America.
When we're talking about potency of venom, we actually have a way to measure that, and that's in lethal doses, or LD50, where the lower the number, the more toxic the venom. To put it in perspective, most of the venomous snakes here in the US are between 10 and 1. But where does the brown widow fall? The brown widow actually has a lethal dose less than 1. Drop for drop,
0.43.
this spider's venom is more potent than all but just a few of the venomous snakes we have.
Holy
But it's very
smokes.
possible that you haven't even heard of this spider before. So
I
it's
didn't
so
know that at all.
Why is nobody dying from it or talking about it at all? And that's because when it comes to venomous bites, the dosage makes the poison. The amount of venom oftentimes matters a lot more than the toxicity. A western diamondback is a lot less toxic than a
but
brown
those
widow.
things-
It has so many more times the dosage
Yeah,
of
look
venom
at that.
a bite from that snake could absolutely kill you and is a medical emergency. Whereas the brown widow has so little venom that even when bites occur, it's actually considered to be one of the less serious widow bites in the world.
With neurotoxic venom, it's a little bit easier to see the relationship between toxicity and dosage. But not all spiders rely on paralyzing their prey in the same way that widows do. One of the most feared spiders in the US and across the world takes a different approach, and perhaps the most unsettling. Now, this might be the most feared spider in the US and North America. What I've got right here is a brown recluse spider.
As you know, I just love talking about venom. It's so cool. And the thing is, different venoms work differently. Most spiders, including all the spiders we've discussed so far, tend to have a venom that's a lot more neurotoxic. It's going to be attacking the nerves of the animals that it bites. In the cases of severe neurotoxins, they actually shut down the central nervous system of their victims. A lot of the snakes here in the US use a different kind of venom, known as a hemotoxin. It's
Yeah.
going to be attacking the blood cells of their prey and the blood cells of their predators if they bite, say, a human. Both of these are actually fairly easy to treat with antivenom if they're addressed soon enough.
What are
It's the
cytotoxic?
third kind of venom that we see in North American venomous wildlife that is a bit harder to treat, and that is a cytotoxin.
Yeah, cytotoxic, cell destroying. That puff adders have that, and it like just. If you want to be grossed out by like a snake bite, look up puff adder bite, and that's a cytotoxic
These
venom.
are basically just anti-cell, where they're not super picky about what kind of cells they're targeting. It's the same reason why we see such severe effects with like staph infections, because staph bacteria actually use a cytotoxin to break down all of the tissue that it comes in contact with. Recluse spiders, believe it or not, actually employ the exact same enzyme that staph bacteria use to dissolve the insides of their prey, and in very severe cases can cause necrosis in humans. Due to how weird
I know he's a scientist and stuff like that, and he knows what he's talking about, but flipping heck, he's saying how dangerous. I know they're small doses and stuff, but I'm not keen on getting bitten by a spider.
cytotoxins are, we actually don't have an antivenom for recluse bites, which makes some of their more potent tropical cousins very, very serious bites.
Believe it or not, North America is home to at least 9 known species of brown recluse. All of them have this cytotoxic venom, but for whatever reason, it doesn't seem as active against humans as some of their tropical cousins. Despite many anecdotal reports, there are no confirmed cases in the US where a human was killed by any of our brown recluse spiders, though in extremely rare cases, bites can cause very serious necrotic lesions. The real danger with the recluse spiders here in the US is not their venom, but how common they are and the types of places they tend to hide. Normally we talk about brown recluses being inside your house, but I actually want to talk about where you'd find them in the wild so we can kind of understand their behavior a little bit better. Right here behind me I've got a dead tree, and brown recluses actually really like this kind of habitat. They're going to be hiding
Under the
inside
bark.
the bark on dead trees and fallen logs, and sometimes even underneath rocks. In your house, cardboard is a lot like the habitats that they'd be hiding in the wild. So if you live in brown recluse territory, cardboard is a place you really want to be careful around. That being said, in North America, less than 1 in like 2,000 even have any necrosis happen at all, and even fewer than that ever have anything that's going to be extremely serious. Why this happens, we're not totally sure. But the vast majority of cases, a brown recluse bite is not a medical emergency. And due to how non-serious recluse bites in the US tend to be, the only reason that I'm even ranking the brown recluse this high is just due to the fact that they're so common and do make their way into homes. Like the brown recluse, there is another spider which has conquered most of the continental United States. The most dangerous spider in the country, and perhaps the most iconic venomous spider in the world, the black widow. Something you probably didn't know is that here in the US, black widow actually refers to 3 different species. We have the northern, the southern, and the western black widows. And
I didn't know that. I thought a black widow was a black widow, to be honest with you.
Toxic.
Right there, you can already see on her abdomen that bright red hourglass, the famous mark of the black widow. Now, it's long been said that that hourglass tells you if you're bitten by this spider, you only have an hour to live, which is not entirely true. In fact, unless you are literally on your deathbed and an hour away from death, if you're bitten by this spider, you certainly have more than an hour to live. Because, believe it or not, this spider is actually not that deadly. So, what does that hourglass actually mean? Like all the other spiders in this list, the black widow likes to hide in forgotten corners where it's dark and dry. They build these gnarly webs that act as shelter and a tool for securing food. Widow spiders, like other web builders, actually use their web as an extension of their nervous system, with each sticky strand serving as a messenger to the spider. She sits upside down in her web, her large abdomen weighing her down. This is where the
I'm not really commenting much. I find this stuff fascinating. Like, I love watching videos like this. So I'll just sit here and I absorb it. I forget that I'm filming even.
hourglass comes in. If a predator were to disturb her home, they'll immediately see the bright red patch sticking out against her jet black body, and they'll think twice about disturbing the spider any further. So while the hourglass doesn't spell a countdown to doom, it certainly does serve as a warning to stay away. At the end of the day, none of the spiders on this list have killed anyone in recent history. You know, I chose the title of this video for a reason. Yeah, sure, deadly would probably sell the video more, but deadly isn't really accurate in the US. The black widow has a couple of potential confirmed kills, but since so many sources dispute whether or not those actually were caused by the black widow,
That's a
I'm gonna go
beautiful
ahead and
spider
be
though, man.
in the no category. Until we have conclusive evidence the black widow has killed anybody, I'm gonna say that it probably hasn't. And even across the world, spider-related deaths are extremely rare, even in countries where there actually are lethal spiders. Because at the end of the day, spiders are pretty reclusive, secretive animals that really don't want to come across humans any more than we want to come across them. I like to describe them as
Same as
simple
snakes.
creatures. Just
Oh, I
trying
love
to
those
make their way
jumping
in the
spiders.
universe. If we leave
Not
them
that.
to their business, the simple
Those.
creatures just trying to make their way in the universe. If we leave them to their business, they'll leave us to ours. And like them or leave them, they're pretty integral parts of our ecosystem, and the world would look very different without them. So next time you see a spider, highly venomous or not, just appreciate a fleeting encounter with an unusual creature from the secret world all around us, and as long as you respect it from a distance, there's no reason to fear it. That being said, if you do live here in the US, there's one arachnid I would advise you to have caution around. It's not a spider, it's actually a scorpion. And unlike the spiders in this video, that one actually does have recent human kills. You want to learn more about the Arizona bark scorpion? Check out this video right here. Hope to see you there, but until next time...
I don't know. I really like this guy's videos. I might check him out and see what other stuff he's got. If it's only spiders or if he does any snakes and stuff as well. What's it? My Wild Backyard. Don't play another video. Don't play another video. Pause.
Deep in.
That's a great channel name as well. My Wild Backyard. Oh, he does all sorts. Snakes. It's not just America as well. Australia. I'll definitely be checking that out. I love this sort of stuff. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I know that. But don't kill them. That's the thing. I hate it when people just kill stuff because they're scared of it, like snakes and stuff. Just leave them alone. 9 times out of 10, if you just leave them alone and move out their way, they'll leave you alone. Unless it's like something that's got something wrong with it, you know. But yeah, excuse me. Oh, that's a bad one. I've just been watching Ginge trying to get in the window. I think she's moved to the front door now, so I better wrap this up, otherwise she'll be angry with me. And the last thing you want in this house is having Ginge be in a mood with you. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. We hope you have a fantastic day. I don't know why I said we, it's only me here. A fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!